Kentucky Tournament Trail. Brought to you by Heritage Pharmacy, Days Boat Sales, the Fishing Hole at Phillips Heating Hardware.
At Heritage Pharmacy, we believe in community. We believe that after this difficult time, we will come back stronger than ever. In the meantime, we are doing our part to support essential workers and offer our gratitude for their commitment to the service of our community. If you're not a customer, you can become one today. Simply call 349-7733 and have your prescriptions transferred, or have your doctor send them to us. We look forward to having you as part of our family.
So thanks for joining us tonight. First ever East Kentucky Tournament Trail podcast. We're gonna talk a little fishing tonight, recap the trail, and maybe get some tips or hints from Brian about 2021 and where it's going, and who knows what's coming down the pipe for this thing. I know I'm excited to have three great guys joining me tonight. We had some unusual circumstances this year with 2020 in itself. Had a schedule to start with. Brian had to back up and punt, put us another schedule out. Everybody did a great job, in terms of following protocol and doing what they needed to do so that we could all go fishing. We're able to wrap the season up, and it was awesome. Just can't thank everybody enough for, doing what they needed to do so that we could all go fishing. Hope you guys will stick around. Please like and share this post. If you do, it really helps us get our word out. But we'd love to hear from you, tonight in the comments. Please tag two friends. We're going to give away $150 of fishing tackle from Phillips Heating Hardware out on the way to Paintsville Lake. And if you want a chance to enter that contest, you need to tag two names in the comments, and you'll be entered automatically to win that tackle. So stay with us. We're going to hear from our sponsors real quick, and we'll be right back after this short break. So I'm excited to be joined by three guys who not only fish the trail, but just avid sportsmen, I guess, like the rest of us, like to get out. And my name is Jason Kenner. You can find me on Facebook, Jason Kenner. You can find me on Instagram at jkenner_fishing. You can also find my YouTube channel. I'll do a ton of stuff there. If you search my name, it'll come up, JK Media. I've got a ton of fishing trips on there, amongst other stuff. I do a lot of things on the video end. So please check that out and like and subscribe. Chris?
Yeah, C. Ferguson Fishing on Instagram. Chris Ferguson here, casting for kids. I'm tournament director there, and construction guru, owner of Ferguson Excavating. Facebook also, fish out on the road a little bit, and meet a lot of good people, and glad to be with East Kentucky Trail. It's a great group of guys. Go successful each year.
Mike?
Mike Burchett. You can find me at Heritage Pharmacy on Facebook. You can mainly find me with Jason. That's usually where I am. I'm the guy in the back of the boat netting fish. At least that's how it's gone this year. Maybe next year he'll net a couple for me, but it's all good with me. It's all good.
Hey, Brian Allen. You can find me on Facebook, Brian Allen, or search up the East Kentucky Tournament Trail page. I also go by Brady and Marley's dad.
There you go. So, Brian, let's start with you, man. You built all this from scratch. I feel like, all of us are a lot alike. We all share similar interests. We just wanted to, a competitive avenue to fish. And, you kind of came out of nowhere with this. And I just, man, you built something great here. So just maybe kind of tell us where it started, where the inspiration came from.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Probably 3 or 4 Christmases ago, just sitting in a recliner at the house, cold, and got through watching one of the outdoor channel. I think it was the Alabama Bass Trail. And I thought, there's no reason that we can't have a nice trail here in Eastern Kentucky. during the spring and summer, you go to any ramp at any of our 3 little lakes, and there's 20 or 30 boats fishing a tournament. So I just threw it out on Facebook, and next thing you know, 50, 60, 70 comments. So I said, okay, looks like there's interest. So we had a very informal organizational type meeting over at the Jenny Wiley Lodge. And I think that first year we almost had 50 teams sign up.
Wow.
Buddy, from there, it's just the passion of a lot of these guys in East Kentucky that want to fish a decent, a big trail. It was never ever started nor created to put some little club out of business or anything like that. It is a true open tournament trail. It's not mine, but the inspiration came from that, as well as I'm a little league dad, middle school coach. You guys can relate. We don't have the time to chase the BFLs and stuff like that, for the simple fact that most all of our time is around a field or a gym or something. As well as the inspiration, it's a perfect platform to introduce children, especially my son, to tournament fishing. He already likes fishing and hunting, which I'm grateful for. But I thought, that's a great spot to introduce him to tournaments, how they work, keep the competitive spirit going. I know my son Brady, Tim McDonald and Bryce, and Mikey's brought Madden along a few tournaments this year. And, as another bonus, him and Brady hit it off and are buddies. So that's kind of where all this came from. And it's not really anything I did. It's just a collective love of fishing in Eastern Kentucky and around. I mean, we've got teams from West Virginia all the way to Central Kentucky. So it's just a good group of guys. And I always ask, Brady says his favorite part about the trail is the different characters in it. Now, I'm not going to drop names, but he loves to hear certain guys tell stories.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So Mike, I know, one of the conversations me and you've had, driving is, the appeal of the trail to you. All of us, me, you and Brian are in similar situations with kids and, doing all that. One thing, Brian, COVID allowed us to fish a little more this year, so that gave me an opportunity to fish a Toyota Series for the first time, but
right.
It definitely changed things. But Mike, anyway, kind of talk about what you, talked about in terms of, what the trail or why the trail appealed to you.
So to me, the thing that I would tell anybody, that the beauty of our trail is for a fisherman, it's competitive. You get the guys in our trail are sticks. I mean, you're not, wherever we go, you don't catch, I caught 3 fish. They're pretty decent. I got a shot. No, you don't have a shot.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you have 5 good ones? Okay, you got a shot. So, it's competitive, which I like. We all grew up competitive. I'm 41 now. I need something. And I get that. But the thing is, like Brian's talking about, I got 3 little kids, 9 and under. Time is a tough thing. And so you say we got a tournament on that Saturday, but my kid's got his first Little League game. Man, I can't get there. I got to be at that game. But with our tournament, with our trail, I can miss one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can pick it up later when season ends, and I can still qualify for the classic. So I can work around that. And that's, for me, I mean, that's a big deal because, some trails, you got to fish every event. And I would love to fish every event, but, I also want my kids to love me when they get older and take care of me. So I try to be at those things. And so for me, that's just a big plus, is that flexibility. Our trail, we've got good sponsors. We brought in, a good purse that we're going to talk about later, through our sponsors and guys showing up. But the camaraderie we have, it's just a great group of guys. And bringing my kid around, awesome. He sees it. You know, the tournament we gotta do in Cherokee. He missed a fish late in the day, and it would have put us in the money. And to have a 9-year-old experience that high and that low in that instant, you know,
Exactly.
that's what brings us back, man, because it's that quick. You had it, you lost it, and then you get to go to weigh in and realize, if I'd have caught that, what would have happened? Yeah, but you didn't. And so, you know, that's what brings you back. And, you know, that's the only way you can introduce your kid to that, is to put them in it. And so this trail's just been awesome for me. It's grown. Brian's done a great job, and I'm excited for next year.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, one thing there, Chris, you know, you got more experience fishing across the country than any of us combined. So, you know, as far as from the competitive side, Chris, you know, this trail, man, I mean, you know as well as I do, there's some dudes, like Mike said, that can absolutely fish, man.
Yeah, they are. And I say it each year. I told Brian, I had a conversation with Brian one evening, and I said, Brian, you got to understand that these guys can fish with anybody across this country. And we've got some that's very talented. I mean, they're really gifted. You know, I could mention, you know, Barry Hobbert and Tyler won Casting for Kids twice. When you do that on two different bodies of lake, and you going against a 160 boat field in Eastern Kentucky, and the times has changed, that says a lot. You've got my hammer that fishes with me, that's taught me a lot. It's Kyle Calhoun, no doubt, can fish circuits out there. One of the best I've ever fished with. And he's so talented and gifted. It's just, he has a lot of natural ability, and just totally. And you got Jimmy Daniels and Crow is they're two of the best duos that's in Eastern Kentucky. They've always have been. Jimmy can catch one flipping in a bathtub upstairs. You got Crow can catch one spinner baiting out suspended. I mean, these guys will bring it. Don Pack and his son this year. I watched one of the most impressive tournaments that I seen all year that stuck out in my mind. I told Kyle a lot about this. I said, there was a tournament this year, and I watched Don Pack and his boy have the best bite going, and they lost 2 4-pounders, and it was on Cherokee. And I saw where he's fishing. I knew where he was at, and he had the best bite figured out on that lake, probably from any locals. And I was blew away. I knew he'd be tough to beat because I saw where he was lined up, and I left that area. And he stuck in my mind that day because I felt like he'd catch it. But, you know, this is a great group of men and women, including Susie Jervis, that is a very tough competitor.
Amen.
Susie's age with Mike Jervis. I don't know if anybody in this country fishes more tournaments on an every weekend basis than those two. And Susie, at her age, my hat's off to her.
Hey,
and
Chris,
she was our Angler Impact Award and Casting for Kids one year.
Chris, you know, I live right across the road from him. I know he's gone every weekend he's gone.
Yeah, the passion is beyond belief of what they have and how they love the sport of this. And I've seen a lot of kids that's come up through that's starting to come into fish and getting more and more spread out. And that's what you want to see out of East Kentucky Trail. Not to mention that you got a guy that's probably won more money as much and been more successful in Eastern Kentucky is Tim Mcdonald. Tim was a hammer and has caught them for years, and his boys is coming up, and I'm seeing the passion that the young one has, and the boys that's done good in Casting for Kids and his sons, you can see them following dad's steps. And, it means a lot to watch Tim and his success and what he's had. I mean, Brian's done an excellent job, and there's a lot going on, you know.
So I got to tell you all a story. All right. Me and Mike last year on Douglas, we knew Douglas vaguely, and we'd found one slip, a bunch of trees that slipped in the lake. Probably know that spot, Chris. You fish it all the time. This big slip, it's the only place we felt like we could catch fish. All right. We pulled up on it, and Bear and his son Tyler were sitting there fishing it. And I'm throwing it. Mike's laughing because he already knows the end of this story. I'm throwing the chatterbait and the spinner bait, power fishing it, Chris. You know where it's going already too. and Bear Halbert and his son had a soft plastic. I don't know what it was, magic, whatever it was, because it caught a lot more fish than anything I threw. And, you know, they were there first. We respected them. We kept our distance and all that. But, you know, Bear didn't like us there. So I don't know if that had something to do with it, but Bear went to putting on a clinic. And Mike can tell you, he caught every fish in that tree right there for us to see it. I mean, I never just wanted to go home, sell my boat, sell all my fishing tackle, and give it up so much in all my life.
It was a clinic.
I mean, that dude can absolutely catch them. I'm just saying, you know, and like you said, like I got a ton of respect for these guys, you know, because some of them, you know, you watch from a distance, some of them like that, you know, they put it right in your face. Well, we made a mistake pulling up on the tree. I'm just saying, but you know, it just awesome. You know, I try to come into this humbly, respect everybody, and you know, because I'm a little bit newer to this, I guess, than some people, but man, that dude, I mean, I'm telling you, Chris, he put on a clinic that day.
well, they're tough. I mean, they're great, and I could name anglers. I feel like I know everybody personally because Casting for Kids, we're getting ready to go into 7th year, and I talk and deal with them every year. And let's mention 2 other guys that had a phenomenal classic is Kevin Boyd and Anthony Tackett.
Yes, sir.
Yep, they won it.
Those guys won the classic, and they executed and done an outstanding job down there. And not to mention, those guys are always in Casting for Kids in the top 10, beating on the door. I know one year they got big fish. That was, you know, and you know, it's phenomenal. But you can't have this trail without good sponsors, and good sponsors is what we need to, you know, really give some plugs to. With Brian, will know that firsthand, and Casting for Kids. The East Kentucky Trail is very fortunate to have old Bill Day with Days Boat Sales.
Yes, sir.
Bill's got a big heart for Eastern Kentucky and all these guys up in this area.
Yes, he does.
And he does a lot that puts on in this area. And Casting for Kids, he does a tremendous amount. And he's got a great staff. And Michelle is firsthand about, you know, making sure of what we all need. And you know, they don't have to do it, but they, you know, Brian, you could touch on that on the sponsors, you know.
Well, as far as I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm not going to mention names, but Bill Day, as far as the heart goes, and the staff down there, we've had 2 anglers in the last couple of years gone through pretty big losses, and like I said, I'm not going to say names, but Bill reached out, and Michelle and Brandon reached out to me both times about, is there anything that we can do to help those guys? So that's sort of all you need to know about Days Boat Sales. We're blessed to have them. They've been with us since day one. We've also been blessed to have Phillips Heating and Hardware, the fishing hole. Phillips been with us since day one. Oh gosh, I'm on the spot here. I'm gonna forget. But we've got all the little bait shops in the area, you know, are on board with us in some form or fashion, all the way down to Catlettsburg. Borders and Brad and those guys are with us. Well, how could I forget this? The guy on here with us, Mikey Burchett.
Yeah.
You know, that was kind of where we was taking the conversation as far as growing the trail and stuff. I'll go ahead and answer that. The reason the trail's grown and got to where it's at, almost, I think, 60 some teams, is because of people like Mikey, because of people like Jason who are doing this. Chris kicked in the 500 in the classic. Mikey kicked in the 2,500. Philip the 500. Just what makes a trail is the people that's in it. That's what makes a trail. The camaraderie, the fellowship, the stories. That's what makes a good trail and keeps it going, in my opinion.
I totally agree. And, you know, on that note, Brian, first of all, if someone is interested in sponsoring this trail, you know, they want their name branded on, you know, this episode, or, you know, those teasers we put out, or on the webpage, wherever, how can they sponsor this trail? What do they need to do?
Get a hold of me, message me through Messenger. That's the easiest way. Just shoot me a message. we will find a spot if you want to be a part of this trail in one form or fashion or another. You know, we try to do a good job as far as getting all of our sponsors out there. If you're a sponsor here, I'm going to hype you up as far as just every day. You know, you hear people need this or that. Well, I'm going to point you that way. But yeah, message me. We'll find a place for you. We try our best to do a good job to get your name out. I can tell you 100% that all the anglers sincerely appreciate. They might not buy a single thing from you. Maybe they might. But they'll tell me behind the scenes, you know, that's fantastic that he did that or
Yes,
whatever, you know, and so.
Hey, and on that note, let's take another quick break. Let's hear from those sponsors.
Heritage Pharmacy. Hi, Jason.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you today? There you go. Thank you.
All right, so welcome back, and let's take a minute, and we're going to pick Chris Ferguson's brain. He's going to give us all the secret lures that him and Kyle have been using down at Yatesville over the spring, last couple of years. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so we got to talk a little casting for kids, Chris. I know it's something that's near and dear to your heart, something that you spend a lot of time, hustling and taking phone calls and dealing with all that stuff that people probably don't realize. But we appreciate you, and I know the kids of the area appreciate it. So just tell us a little bit about that cause.
Yeah, it's a great cause, and we got a lot of guys and anglers and a lot of volunteers and Shriners and Masons that come all together for a huge event that's for transporting Shriners kids to the Shriners Hospital in Lexington, Kentucky. And what we do with that money each year that we get out casting for kids is we take those kids, we pick them up in Paintsville, Kentucky in our van, and we take them free of charge to the Shriners Hospital in Lexington, and then we'll feed them a meal. Then we bring them back free of charge that's not have the means to get down there with their family with a disabled kid. And this tournament has bought and paid for a new van. We just wrapped the van. It's got kids' pictures on it. It's really cool. All of our sponsors on the van. I just released it this evening on our Casting for Kids page, and
That's awesome.
There's a lot of good work that goes into a lot of people, and I want to thank you personally that's out there that has a hand in helping Casting for Kids with all the sponsors, the anglers. I know everybody lives that goes through this tournament, and I'm real close to setting the dates right now. I've been working through the weekend. I've got 2 dates that's coming on 1 month. I've got 2 dates I'm kind of shuffling for the Douglas one that I'm starting new this year coming. Down in Douglas, we're going to have a big one down there that's going to be partnered up with Jericho Shrine Club. And I'm having the kids tournament just for the kids in the month of June. And I've got the date pretty well zeroed in, but I'll release all this coming in the next 2 weeks. I'm waiting on one trail to dump out their schedule, and then I'm ready to roll. So it's a great cause, but it can't happen without a lot of good people,
Absolutely. That's awesome. I know one thing that we said we were going to mention, I just about forgot. Brian, you said you get this question all the time. How does somebody join the East Kentucky Tournament Trail? How do they come fish with us?
Okay. Yeah, I get that question the most on Messenger and Facebook and everything. This trail is set up. It is a open trail. If KVD wanted to fish our trail, he can. However, he has to sign up and register before our season starts. So January 1st of 2021, applications to fish our trail will be available. They're on the Facebook website. Like I said, search for East Kentucky Tournament Trail. You get that application, print it off. I always put out my address on there, or we will have a couple of meetings at the lodge where we do registrations there. I'm going to try my best this year maybe get down to the Johnson Central tackle show and set up there. But anyway, you have to register just like any of the bigger series to fish our trail. Once our first tournament starts, it's closed. I did that to protect the field. In other words, we can go anywhere in the world and fish, and it's going to be the same group of anglers fishing against each other. It's not going to be a situation where we go to Douglas, which we all like, and we get down there and let's just say Michael Jervis has Ott Defoe in the boat with him. So it protects the field from stuff like that. And once the season starts, the application period closes, and those group of competitors fish the season.
I love that rule. And, just another reminder, guys, tonight we have $150 worth of tackle that we're going to give away from Phillips Heating Hardware. So, hit us up in the comments, just tag a couple friends. You'll be automatically entered to win that tackle. And you can pick that up at Phillips Heating Hardware, and we'll let you know that if you win that tackle. I guess the fishing hole is what it's technically called, right, guys? But anyway, we're gonna hop real quick, and we're gonna do a little season recap. Just talk about some of the events, and I'll let you guys kind of run with that. What jumps out in your mind, what sticks out in your mind as far as 2020 goes.
Chris won a bunch. Chris and Kyle usually win a bunch. Jimmy wins. That's usually how it goes.
Y'all be lucky.
Well, that gets back to what I'll say is I'll put this group of anglers, I'll put them against anybody. These guys catch fish anytime, anywhere. I don't care. But going back through the season, I don't have it in front of me, but Chris and Kyle did, I think, win a couple of events. They also won the points race at the end of the year. Jimmy and Larry Crow, they had a really good season. I think they won 2 events. Don Pack and his son Connor, I know they won 1 event, but they had a really good year. They won
Douglas when I thought Chris would be the favorite to win Douglas.
Yeah, they well, I always think I'm the favorite, but you see how that goes.
Well, yeah.
That's all I prefer to do, Brian.
Yeah.
Besides me and you.
I'm trying to think. Don and Connor, they ended up in second in the points, tied with Jimmy and Crow. So that tells me there was a real good shallow water bite all year long. But if you could, there's a variety of different people that place and win and stuff during the course of the year. But speaking of the classic, like we said before, Kevin Boyd and Anthony Tackett, who somehow always catch a big fish. They're really good guys, good anglers. They did win our classic this year at Chickamauga. They won $5,600 first place in our classic. We had a lot of good weights down there. We was at Chickamauga the weekend after the Elite Series. And again, Jason, you and Mikey, day one had 22 pounds and some change.
Yeah, that's a monster bag. Monster.
There wasn't an elite angler there during that whole 3 or 4 days that had that. Rick Staniford and Johnny Panel had a real good classic. They almost had 20 pounds on day one.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Brian, we're about to cut off right there. Let's take another quick break. And as soon as we come back, we'll talk to Classic. Is that all right with you?
Sounds good.
Heritage Pharmacy.
Stop by and see us today. Let us treat you like family.
Hi, Jason.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you today? There you go. Thank you.
right, welcome back from our break. So, like Brian said before the break, we want to spend a little time talking about the Classic. I know, Brian, and speaking for me and Mike, some days it's better to be lucky than good. We showed up down there at Chick. Mike had been frog fishing the week before that at Gunnersville. And I've never been frog fishing in my life, boys. I'm not lying to you. I swear to you. No lie. This is the true story, all right? So we go down, we stop at Michael Neal's store there at the Dayton boat ramp. Nice little tackle store. Y'all been in there, I'm sure.
Uh-huh.
And I go in and buy 5 or 6 varieties of frogs because I'm like, boys, one of these frogs is going to catch them, right? And, I picked up that toad runner. I bought 2 of them because my dad taught me when I was a kid, and this is one lesson I always remember. He said, always buy 2, never buy 1. So that day I listened and I bought 2. And if you watch the video that I put out on my YouTube channel, there's a point where it becomes a struggle because that first 7-pounder absolutely mangled that one frog. I mean, it mangled it.
I said, for the record, I was never offered that second frog.
But I go searching frantically through the boat for that second frog because the
That's
first
no
one's
good.
Yeah. Well, it comes with 2 tails, and it's that little whopper plopper like action. You guys know that whopper plopper's driven fish mad for 2-3 years, just that little tail action. And that was the difference, guys. I'm just saying, Mike's back there. I mean, splitting atoms, putting things inside that frog, putting bait. I'm throwing this sucker I got out of the pack. And I mean, so I catch that 7-pounder, it mangles that frog, and I finally find the other one. And you guys will think I'm crazy, but I swear to you, I know a lot of people like my father if he goes fishing, he wants to catch 100. That's just what he wants to do. I'm that fool that I'll throw a glide bait for 10 hours to catch 1. That's just how I'm wired up. I like catching big ones. You know what I mean? So I told Mike Friday night, and he can tell me I'm lying if this isn't the truth. I said, Mike, the bite was tough, guys. People see fish pictures and they're like, man, those guys, Chris, you guys had a great sack too. Let's not lie. I mean, I'm just saying, and people are like, it's just easy. They're down there jumping in the boat. Boys, it ain't like that. It wasn't like that. We went practice, and I think we had 3 keepers all practice. You know what I mean? But we found that one mat that we felt like was alive. And I'm telling you, I told him I was going to catch 2, and he had to catch 3. I go out and I caught that one, and I just had a feeling I was going to catch that other one. But I'm telling you, that mat and people that have been frog fishing, Chris, you probably experienced it. Brian, you probably experienced it. It was so shallow. It was 1 to 2 feet of water. You could see the backs of those fish. They were knocking bluegill up out of the water. I can't tell you what was going on, but I've never in my life been in a spot. And Mike, you agree with this, that I felt like if I cast in any direction around the boat, there was at least 10 7+ pound fish, and Chick's crazy like that.
Yeah, it was.
But I'm going to tell you this, boys, those are the most educated bass on planet Earth in Lake Chickamauga.
Yeah.
I mean, aren't they, Chris? I mean, it's crazy. Those fish.
Other than Yatesville fish.
True.
Yeah,
True.
Bless Yatesville fish's heart.
Yes. But I mean, and you guys will think I'm lying, but we pull up that morning, the way the day started, I missed one. You know how they hit the frog? You can see the fish most of the time. That fish was sideways. It was 4 to 5 pound fish. Start the day. All right. I catch that big one, have a little lull and catch that other big one, which I was telling Mike I was going to catch. And I don't know, just my lucky day. I don't know. I told you some days it's better to be lucky than good. But later on, I had a third fish that was at least the size of those 2. And y'all think I'm blowing smoke, and we're all fishermen, so I guess we all tell stories. But it hit 15 feet in front of the boat, boys, and it just missed it. You guys know sometimes they just miss that frog. And it hit the side of the fish, and I'll never forget. Me and my cameras, I can't believe I didn't have the chest camera on, because that would have been one of the best clips in the history of me bass fishing. I'm not going to lie. And I don't know how I missed it, but anyway, it was awesome. Guys, we were lucky. I mean, we pulled up on the right spot. That's 95% of fishing, right?
Yeah.
For us, it is.
For us, it is.
Yeah, I mean, but Mike, am I lying? That spot, man, it was just happening there. It was happening.
It was the spot. And we found it Wednesday when we first got down there, and we pulled up, we caught one, and we left. It was right, and we just left it. And we went all over that lake. I always wanted to drive to that bridge that you cross 75 on the Hiawassee. I drove over it my whole life, and every time I drive over, I'm always like, I want to fish right there. I know there's good fish there. So that was my first time at Chickamauga. We drove up there. We ain't catch no fish up there. Next time I drive over it, I'll be like, there's nothing there. But I've been there. I know you all do it too, because you all got the sickness that I got. When you cross a bridge and it crosses a body of water, you always look over there and you're like, I bet there's a big fish down there.
Ain't no doubt.
That's the sickness.
Yeah, it is.
And then the next day, Chris, I talked him into going to the Watts Bar Dam, and I'm telling you, we get up there, boys. I got hush with my stories, but you got to hear this one. You know, the part where the water comes out is really swift, where they're making electricity. These two old boys in about a 15, 16-foot wave venture. The one guy would drive it, and the one would stand on the front of the boat, and he was like hunkered down. They'd get all the way to the dam. He'd cast the water, blow them out, and they'd go back in there and they'd do it all over again. Crazy madness. Wasn't it, Mike?
Yeah.
For stripers.
I guess if they'd have hooked one, it'd have took them to the other dam. But you know, and I'm with you, Brian. You know, Kevin Boyd and Anthony, man, those guys, for as long as I've been fishing, they're always in the mix. You know what I mean? They always catch fish. And my stumble as a fisherman, I'm gonna tell you right now, you know, for everybody to hear it, I've got to do better on day two. You know, I stumble on day two, you know, so that's just something I got to work on, you know, individually. But those guys, man, Sunday was tough. It changed. You guys know the whole lake changed. We had that little mist. It was nasty. And those guys went out and were consistent. And there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah. You know, kind of to add to that, a while ago, I was joking about like Don and Jimmy and them. I said must have been a shallow water bite, but a lot of these guys in our trail are versatile fishermen. You know, you might see them going down the bank, flipping, pitching. Next thing you know, you see them, they're 50 yards off a point cranking. I just can't emphasize how much that this group of guys can flat out fish.
Well, I'll give Doug Green a shout out, Brian. You know, Doug Green pulls into our campsite there Thursday, I think, Mike. And again, this is a guy, you're talking to a guy that, like I said, hadn't been frog fishing. And Doug sat down there and gave us a Bass University session, you know, there for 10, 15 minutes, you know. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, I learned a ton from the guy. Just listen, you know, he goes down there a lot. He's fished it a lot. He's got a lot of experience. So, you know, Doug don't realize how much he helped me. I'm just saying.
Oh, it's like a lot of times, you know, Doug's a great fisherman. A lot of times, though, every time we hook up and go to Tennessee, I'm always wondering where Stoney Newsom and Pooh Bear's going to finish.
Yeah.
Stoney knows Tennessee lakes like the back of his hand.
Absolutely.
Yes, he does.
And you know, Randy and Derek stayed at our campsite there. Two guys that can absolutely catch fish, you know.
Yep.
Randy won down there at the end of the summer. Brian on Yatesville had 8 pounds, and second had like 3 pounds. I mean, I don't know what he was doing, but I mean, he was dialing it up. So, you know, those guys, just like you guys say, just a heck of a competitive field.
It is.
So let's
more
talk.
Guys were Greg and Jordan Friend. Those guys finished top 10 in the Classic.
That's good guys too.
They're great guys.
I've known Greg Friend for a long time.
I mean, it's little things like that guys do in our tournament to help Brian. I noticed that, you know, I noticed things like that, people that stick around and try to help out. Man, we're all busy. We all want to get home. Brian wants to get home, but you know, when I see guys like that, you know, that's just character showing out to me. That's how I view things like that.
Yeah.
And man, Susie, like, you know, you guys talking about Susie, listen, I think the world of Susie. You know, I live beside Michael up the road from Susie. So, you know, I see him a lot, and I know you're related to him and all that, Brian, but you know, she was in my ear day one. Hey, do this, don't do that. Just experience. Like, you know, she's just a stump of information. And I just have the ultimate respect for her and Mike Jervis. You know, Mike Jervis catches fish, boys. I'm just saying, you know, so I just have the ultimate respect for her.
I'm glad you mentioned that because my grandmother, not to go off on another road here, but real quick, I'll mention my grandmother is the one that got my love of fishing started, catfishing on the banks of Beaver Creek.
That's awesome.
My love for tournament fishing, I'm very blessed that my Aunt Susie and Uncle Mike and Uncle Tim Miller, they started taking me fish tournaments. I was 10, 11 years old. So, I mean, you talk about the sickness. I've had it for 30 years.
Hey, Tim Miller can catch some big fish too. Was it Perma he won that year? He had that 8.5 pounder or whatever. You know?
if Tim Miller didn't break so many fish off, he would cash a check all the time.
Yeah, he can catch fish.
I'm telling you, he'll send me a picture every once in a while, maybe a practice fish or something. Last year at Cumberland, I know he had 30 pounds, and got up there tournament day, snap. You know, I gave him a hard time, but he's taught me a lot over the years.
Absolutely. Yep. You know, we wanted to remind you one more time, we're giving away $150 worth of tackle tonight. Tag 2 friends down in the comments, and you'll be automatically entered to win that tackle. You can pick it up at the fishing hole out there at Phillips Heating Hardware on the way to Paintsville Lake. You know, and if you're just in the mood to buy some fishing tackle, I know for me, guys, it's a hobby, probably about that way for y'all. I see Brian's got plenty up there in the background, but, you know, go out there to Phillips and hit him up. He keeps a great inventory on hand. You know, you don't have to wait on it to come in if you order it online. So, you know, go check Phillip out on the way to Paintsville Lake. Anybody else you guys want to give a shout out there in terms of picking up tackle locally?
Well, we got Anglers Bait and Tackle up here on the road out to Dewey Lake, Pikeville Ace Hardware. Show your tour card up there. You get a little discount. Brad down at Borders. I hope and pray I haven't forgot anybody. If I did, I sincerely apologize.
And, you know, Chris, you're giving Bill Day a shout out there. And, you know, I came back from the Toyota Series and my motor had a little miss, and I pulled in down there. What's his name? Greg is the –
Yeah.
Greg. I mean, boys, I swear, Greg, he can put his ear up to it, and he's like, hey, you need a diaphragm. You know, 10 minutes later, he's got a diaphragm pumped in there, and I'm, you know, headed home. You know what I mean? So, you know, can't give Bill Day and those guys. I had some troubles last year, and, man, you know, Bill just he went to the end of the earth to solve my problem. So, you know, I can't give Bill Day enough of a shout out, you know, in terms of you know, standing behind the products that he sells. You know, people they I'm sure you run into them just like I do, and, you know, they see our fishing pictures or whatever, and they're like, I'm thinking about buying a boat. You know, I think COVID drove a lot more people to buy boats this year. And, you know, I know this spring I had people call me, and I sent them to Bill Day, man. You know, I believe Bill's going to stand behind his product and treat everybody good in that capacity. Chris, would you agree?
Yeah. You know, I'll tell you a quick story, and this is how Bill Day and I got. I think it was 2003. We was fishing the Fishers of Men Trail that come through Eastern Kentucky, and it fished Harrington and Taylorsville and all that. And I'd met Bill down there at a tournament at Yatesville Lake for the first time. Then it carried over. Anyhow, long story short, we really kicked it off is when I was fishing a Carrollton tournament through Fishers of Men. I broke down in my boat at that time was a TR-19 with a 175. My bearing had went down on the trailer, and I was down. I was done. And Bill was there, and this is the first how we really kicked it off. And he said, I'll tell you what, I can help you. And I said, you know, you're closed. He said, well, I'll help you out. He let me use a boat that was there at that time. He probably didn't have 5 boats on the lot, maybe 6. And he was working out of that little place in behind his dad's. And it was just a little just getting a started place. And he let me fish a tournament in the Fishers of Men Trail while I was out of town and out of his boat on the lot, fixed my bearing, got me where I can go home with my boat. And he and I started that relationship back in the early 2003, I think it was. And we've been close friends ever since. And I've watched that business grow to where he sold 300 boats. I just talked to him the other day this year.
Wow.
And I don't know of many other dealerships in America that sold that many. And his new facility that he has down there is just monster. I mean, and he had them rowed and lined up in uniform real neat for the service side. Now you got plenty of room to work on boats and get them in and out. But he's a special friend. I think a very lot of him. And we've been through a lot together with personal life, sharing late night calls and riding on the road to Florida. And, you know, he's just a good man. He's got a huge heart and he cares about this area. I mean, he sincerely does with a lot of things that he's done that nobody knows about. And I can stand for that. And that's he and I go back a good way, you know.
That's great.
I want to fish next year on one of those big fountains, though. I'm still.
You can't put a trolling motor on.
That work. Can I do that? With triple 300s, can I fish? Is that illegal?
As long as you have a working aerator, you're good to go.
Okay.
That big saltwater rigs, that was nice. I'll tell you, they're nice.
And that's something, we got to give Brian a big shout out. He's a really humble guy, but there's no doubt in dealing with people like me that, can I fish here? Can I put in there? And all the text messages and Facebook messages, Brian, we just appreciate your time, man. I think you do it for all the right reasons, can't say thank you enough for your time and effort in getting this going and maintaining it, man.
I appreciate it, buddy. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. Great job, Brian. Thank you. And I want to give a shout out for Time Gets Away, Jason Kenner, for doing this video tonight.
Yes.
And this podcast. Jason has been inspirational to the anglers in Eastern Kentucky Trail for representing us and getting us out there. And Jason, thank you. This is good. I like it.
He puts together fantastic videos, the schedule, the different events.
The best.
Yes, thank you. Yep.
I'll be honest, guys.
I'll tell you a little story about that before he gets carried away.
I'll come right back to you, but I'd love to get it to where we get some of those other guys on here. You know what I mean? This winter, when it's cold, just like us, just talking fishing. Maybe we come on one night and talk favorite lures. I don't know. You know what I mean? Just like you guys said, trying to educate that next generation.
I kind of move along, I guess. I don't want to give it too much away, but we hopefully one of our anglers is a computer guru, I guess, lack of words, but he's been working on something for us that hopefully for 2021 we're going to have a big East Kentucky Tournament Trail website. And hitting on what you just said, he's asking me, sort of the things we'd like to do. And that is one of the things is I want to do angler spotlight on that. We've not really come up with exactly what we're going to, ask the spotlight other, what intrigues me is how did you get started fishing? Why do you like this? So stuff like that. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike. I'm sure I'm about to get roasted right here.
No, just one. So we fish chick, and this is the behind the scenes stuff. It's easy to sit there and film it, but you got to have your B-roll too. I've learned all this stuff. So we fish. We've been there since Wednesday. We fish Saturday. We're there again Sunday, and I'm done. I'm wore out. But the sun came out, so we had to go back out. I just want to go home, I just want to go sit down. No, that's when you see those shots of the boat and all that other stuff. Everybody's halfway to Knoxville, and we're still out there getting shots.
Hey, they don't know that. You just ruined all that.
No, I mean, that stuff doesn't just happen. I mean, it's effort. And I've got to see it, and it is hard work, and he does it, and he's good at it. And when you see the final product, it looks good, but there's effort in it, and I appreciate it, because I watch him put it all together. We got to get these shots, and we do this. Sometimes my boat's it's an aircraft carrier. He flies that drone. I feel like I'm driving the aircraft carrier, and he'll land it on the deck of the boat.
Yeah.
That's as close as I'm gonna get to driving the aircraft carrier. So
yeah,
but
that's just a little behind the scenes that everybody doesn't get a experience. Is that we're out there working on all that. I say he's doing it. He's constantly doing it, taking pictures, all that. I was never that guy. I want to catch it, throw it in the live well, and get that next cast out. But
hey, we got 15 pounds.
I'm getting better at it.
I got the drone up after we had those two big fish. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of geeked up. We got that drone flying around the boat. That was on that Saturday. But I'll be honest with you, boys, and I know you can relate to this. And Chris, this kind of speaks to what you and Mike and Brian, everybody's about. They always say to you as an adult, you never realize who's watching. I've been an educator for 13 years. There are more kids, and on Instagram's the place for kids that have Branson Green Fishing or one of those young guys has started their fishing page. Well, I just think that's the coolest thing in the world. And if I had 1% of something to do with that, that's what this is about for me.
Yeah, really cool.
You know, and I call Madden, we call him Madden Van Dam. Mikey used to get mad at me over that. And I wanted to tell him, and I guess, you know, Kevin Van Dam's kind of faded now. Maybe he'd rather be, you know, Jacob Wheeler or Brandon Palaniuk, but, you know, maybe Van Dam's just the wrong name for him. But, you know, I think it's awesome that you guys involve your boys and that you get them out there. Mine's 14, he could care less. So, you know, it's not in his heart at this point. But anyway, nonetheless, you know, we were going to move on and we were going to talk a little bit about 2021. Maybe just put Brian on the spot a little bit and, you know, see what he's got lined up, what he's kind of thinking for, you know, the next steps of this trail.
Well, as far as 2021 goes, well, before I say 2021, I did want to mention, I don't really have the average, but it's somewhere close to 35 to 40 boats each event shows up, and the way we pay out, it's all 100% pay. But our participation in every one of our tournaments in 2020, the East Kentucky Tournament Trail paid out $46,590 in prize money. That blows my mind for a group of people from Eastern Kentucky that get together that want to fish. And it's this, I would feel terrible if I didn't mention this real quick. It's the same group of guys that has for probably the last 5 or 6, 7 years showed up and helped me with some of my fundraising for our kids as far as sports and things like that goes. I don't want to go down that road or I'll get tore up on you. But anyway, as far as 2021, I think we're going to see some new lakes show up on the schedule. Some of the old ones, but some new lakes. Probably everybody in this knows I want to go to South Carolina for a classic, but everybody seems to have such a good time at Chick, you know, where you can go and catch fish of a lifetime. So that's up in the air. Just hoping that we're able to fish our schedule, get past this COVID in 2021, and we have the same participation. Keep growing it. This trail, I'm trying not to ramble, but if you're new to the sport, if you're a dad that used to fish, that you got a son now or wife, or this is a really good place. It's affordable. Come fish. My number one rule on this thing, and everybody sees it, knows it. We uphold the integrity of fair competition. Totally. I love each and every single person on this trail, but they know, and we've never had this issue, but I promise, if anything ever come up, somebody thought somebody was cheating or something like that, your face would be exposed in every media outlet. You wouldn't be able to fish a catfish pay lake tournament.
Love it.
At least till you got to Florida. So we've got a good thing going. And, you know, like I said, hopefully 2021 is going to be another great year for us.
Hey, man, I'm just spitballing here, you know, and I was going to see if Chris and Mike, you know, we encourage the people that watching to jump in the comments, you know, hit us up with an idea or a thought. You know, nobody's ever going to hear that idea or a thought if you don't share it with somebody, right? So I'm going to bounce one off of you, Brian, because I hear you talking about South Carolina, and I've never been on Santee Cooper. But, man, I'd love the thought of Marion and Moultrie in February or March. I mean, they caught some giants down there. But anyway, I'm just spitballing.
I'm scared of alligators.
Hey. Chris, how about you? I mean, you know, just a thought or a spitball idea like I offered there, Mike. You guys got any?
Well, I think you know, the classic is it is a good venue at Chick to give everybody that it's close to home and everybody can do. You never know who's going to win anyhow, and right. You can catch a fish of a lifetime. It's probably right now in America is the hardest venue for us close to drive that we could probably take advantage of for now while it's hot. And yeah, you could jump out of the box and do a big time spring tournament somewhere, a place that everybody could flat out catch them. 1st of April, Santee, or do something like you only take that one trip for people that don't never get to go, to a nice lake. There's a ton of them out there that you can just have a ball at. Murray, I know Brian would love to see a Lake Murray.
Yeah.
Lake Murray's them herring lakes. They'll snake bite you. I got snake bit there this year on one over there, but and it's an awesome fishery. But there's just so many options we could do to take advantage of. That as a club we can, Brian, maybe look at something that somebody have something to look forward to in the spring. But
I've always thought, I don't know, like for us in growth is moving, just bouncing ideas like Green River, Rough, Barren. It's still a long way though, but it would open us up in state to different, a different geographical part of the state that people might be interested. That's just something.
Well, like I said,
I just make suggestions.
No. I get a lot from Central Kentucky, and like I said, there's going to be some new lakes show up on the schedule this year.
I feel like Brian, our page has gotten several new ads, lately from people in the state just curious, what's going on, and on the money end, you mentioned this, but I know you told me, you took out the spring events, right? And Cumberland, I think, someone you specifically mentioned. How much does that pot go up? I mean, it was a lot of money, but still, our prime season was missed.
Yeah, well, that just gets back to everybody's love of fishing tournaments with this group of stuff. The Cumberland tournament was taken off the schedule, and I do think that had we had that one with the participation and stuff, adding it to the pot, that we'd been right at $50,000 that we'd have paid out, which is just, it blows my mind. But hopefully 2021 is going to be a lot better for us.
I totally agree. Well, boys, I've had a great time. I've enjoyed talking fishing. Hopefully you guys will hop back on here again with us sometime this winter. Maybe we can get some of them other guys on here. Maybe we can get some Jimmy Daniels fish stories, or, some Randy McCarty fish stories. I don't know, but, hopefully some of those guys will hop on here with us. I'd like to do this once a month and, just try to promote our sport, talk some fishing. But I just want to say I appreciate your all's time tonight. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, thank you guys. Enjoyed it. Awesome. Good.
At Heritage Pharmacy, we believe in community. We believe that after this difficult time, we will come back stronger than ever. In the meantime, we're doing our part to support essential workers and offer our gratitude for their commitment to the service of our community. If you're not a customer, you can become one today. Simply call 349-7733 and have your prescriptions transferred, or have your doctor send them to us. We look forward to having you as part of our family.
Good job.